Welcome to Newrealities. I'm Alan Steinfeld, and this program is about the evolution of our spirit, of our consciousness, where we're going as a planetary race. What's our evolution, and what is the meaning of life here and relationships? And that's why I'm talking tonight to a very special woman, Dr. Carmen Harra, who's written an amazing book called The Karma Queen's Guide to Relationships. With your daughter, you've written this book. Talking to you before the show, I didn't realize how intuitive you really are. And so we have relationships in this, as you talk about, to work out stuff on a soul level. Tell me about that.
I mean, relationships. The word relationship comes from the Latin word relatio, which means to restore. So we actually bring people in our life to restore our sense of well-being, to create balance and harmony. So relationships are supposed to do us a lot of good. But if you pay attention at the world around, relationships are very challenging.
Yeah.
And the number one relationship is mother-child. So that's why I said, let me bring my daughter in this a creative book in order to show the world that it is possible to have wonderful relationship with your children. Right. And to bring their generation, the perspective of that generation. So this book is actually a book that brings the perspective of a 20-year-old versus a 50-year-old. So we come together and we talk about relationship from different points of view.
Right, but the relationship everyone's worried about is their love relationship. So
I know, and a relationship intertwined. So my philosophy in this book is that the relationship with your mother can actually interfere with the relationship with your husband. So your love relationship can be affected by the relationship with other people in your life.
Exactly.
So how can you separate the external influences that are so common and, as I said, may probably damage your love relationship?
How do you deal with it?
So you separate. So you actually decide to think for yourself, and you don't allow other people to tell you what you have to do, which a lot of people do. They listen to their friends, to their family, because they claim, oh, I love you, I wish you the best, and I'm going to stop you from being in this relationship because I personally think it's not good for you.
But it's not their business.
But it's not their business.
Right.
So it's moment to grow up and decide for your own self. So be your own person.
Except we get involved in relationships that keep this karmic cycle going. So if you didn't have a good relationship with your father or your mother, you may seek out substitute, and then you keep going through the same patterns.
Exactly.
And you never clear it because you're always working on that stuff.
And that's exactly what I brought the concept of karma.
Yes.
In the book, I said, well, this is about relationship with a karmic twist, because we tend to create the repetition of the same events over and over. Like people come to me and say, Dr. Harra, why do I bring in my life the same abusive man? Why do I get married to the same person?
And part of that's karmic because we want to learn something from the karma, but we never do. We
never do, exactly.
And so how do we get out of the karmic cycle?
Well, we learn, so you acknowledge, you identify the karma, you acknowledge that karma is something that can be reversed, it's fixable, it can be healed.
First define karma.
Well, my definition of karma is totally different than the general definition of karma that we all know about.
What's your definition?
Because we think karma is something that is the Newtonian law of cause and effect, which is a punishable thing. If you do something wrong, it's going to go back to you and it's going to bite you. My definition of karma is the totality of your thoughts, your intention, your action that you put into the universe. And it's some kind of an energy that is attached to your soul, and it translates into a pattern of behavior. It translates into a memory that is stored into the right side of the brain, into the subconscious mind, and you continue to repeat that pattern of behavior,
Yeah, no, I go along with your definition because people do keep recycling those same relationships. It's the same pattern. So to break those karmic relationships, we have to do what?
You go back to the source. You go back to what created the initial situation. So if we say, okay, karma comes from, is accounted for your missing father, for instance, in your love life. Karma comes back to the fact that you've been abused or bullied in school. and that is reflected in a relationship with the man in your life, with the woman in your life, then you go back to the moment and all of that happened. And you clear that. You delete that. It's like a file.
How do you delete it, though?
Well, you delete when you become conscious. And then in the cognitive therapy, you can be healed if you consciously talk about it and you express it. It's a therapeutic tool to talk about your problem or write yourself a letter or write a letter to God, because that's when you clear your karmic pattern. Unless you don't acknowledge, you live with the problem. So you wake up, say, this is what happened to me, and this is what my problem is. And it happened then, like Freud used to say, go back to your youth, go back to your childhood where something probably happened. Go back and revisit that point, that moment in time. And the moment you do, you have the ability to take it away. You erase it from your
But I think before you erase it, you have to feel it. You have to.
When you go back, you do feel it.
You have to feel the pain in a sense of those.
When you go to that moment, you bring back the pain, and a lot of people do that by simply going back to through hypnotherapy to that moment in time. Sometimes you can't. The memory is dormant, and you cannot access that memory. That's why we used to say that hypnosis means going to sleep. Sometimes you have to go to sleep to access dormant memories. You bring them to consciousness, and you acknowledge them, and you bring them to life, and you refill the pain. I like to hypnotize sometimes people because it's a great tool to erase phobias and obsessive pattern of behavior. And when they start talking about, they feel the pain. I hypnotized a 16-year-old who was telling me how he died in an airplane because he was afraid to fly. And
in a past life, you're saying?
Yeah, the kid felt the pain, and he was like shaking, and his heart rate went to 140 because he felt how he was dying. So he went to that moment, and so just to complement what you were saying, I'm giving you an example how you feel that pain.
You feel the pain.
But the moment he felt the pain, he erased the pain, and since that, this kid is traveling all over the globe, and he's not afraid of flying anymore.
Well, so I think what you're saying is the not looking at the situation, covering it up, perpetuates it.
Exactly, absolutely.
And so I might have the same relationships over and over again.
Yes,
because
and you're stuck.
I'm
so
stuck.
The more I stay stuck, the worse it gets.
So maybe my thing is because
it's a horrible feeling. Yeah.
But if we don't know what the cause is, maybe you'll hypnotize me. Maybe it goes back to my past life.
Well, a lot of things goes back to past.
Where I think I lost my family, I lost all that suddenly, and that was so traumatic that. But I've
and then that affected your
yes,
present life?
Yes, of course. But I've gone back there. I felt the pain, but maybe I need to feel more pain of that.
No, but probably the pain is gone in a way.
I think so.
You eliminated that. Now you need to take a step forward into creating a new reality.
Thank you.
And that's the next step. After something being erased, you have to project a new reality.
How do you do that?
The reality reflects what the mind projects.
Okay, so I need to project what I want to create.
Your mind, creates something different. We are the manifestation of our thoughts, of our intention and action. And we create karmic pattern of behavior every single day. So we create something new every single day. So I think that what you need to do is that like you envision your show and you made it happen.
Yes.
Make a dream. You don't
make
have
it
anything,
happen.
You don't have anything. Make your dream happen.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it happen. And then create a new, not even karmic, because karmic represents the patterns of stuckness,
karma
right?
is the number one law of spirituality, because we were talking about spirituality. The foundation of life is based on the law of karma.
You mean cause and effect?
Yeah, the cause and effect. And not only that, it's the foundation of your action. So you are the result of everything you put in the universe. You are the result of your thoughts. And your thoughts translate into the reality that you are living. As I said, what you think, you become. You're the product of your thoughts.
I think as far as karma, I think we can step off the wheel of our karmic cycle when we become really present.
The karma is exactly like a wheel. You said it perfectly.
Yes.
Imagine a wheel, and you turn around the wheel, and you want to exit that wheel, the karmic wheel, because you want to free yourself from the karmic pattern.
Right, because we want to be free.
Yeah.
We want to be free of all of it. We want to live in the present and not be controlled by the force.
You don't want to carry the baggage. Because when you think of karmic pattern, you also think of the luggage that you carry with you. The luggage that never gets lost on a trip, you know?
I just had my luggage lost.
Luggage gets lost in an airport, but this kind of a luggage, you
take it with you.
You take it
until you walk away from it.
Until you walk away.
But you can only walk away from it until you make peace with it.
Until you make peace, until you forgive yourself, until you know how to love yourself, until you accept yourself, until you raise your vibration energy to another level of consciousness.
So what made your relationship with your daughter so different than other people? How did you overcome the mother-daughter issues?
Well, I face the same issues like every other mother, you know, dealing with teenagers especially, and I have 3 daughters. And daughters, they rebel, you know, at a certain age, especially teenagers are very difficult to deal with. You know, I wrote my thesis in college about imposters in adolescence. Imposters. So
imposters
and
adolescents?
Yes, they are imposters. When they go between becoming adults, you know, they don't understand many things. That explains why teenagers will take a gun and go to school, because they don't understand that. They don't understand the consequence of their action. They don't understand emotions. You know, they learn to understand feelings, emotion. They have all that hormonal changes. And there's nobody there sometimes helping them to process those changes that happen.
So what do you suggest then?
So then you have to be very loving, very understanding, and have a lot of talk and a lot of conversation, and try not to be controlling. What parents do wrong many times, they're very domineering. They try to be controlling up to a point in which kids tend to rebel even worse. So for that, I think I should write another book on parenting.
You should.
Because, you know, this is...
Because you have a good relationship.
I build it. I work very hard. And you know what I base this entire philosophy is what my poor mother did to me. And she didn't know any better.
What did she?
She lost her mother when she was a baby girl. Her mother gave birth to her and died right after that. So she had no mother. She didn't know any better. She became a controlling mother to me.
Because she was fearful.
Because she was fearful of losing me. She didn't know any better.
But then you rebelled, right?
But then not so much, but I felt a lot of pressure coming from her, you know. And then I said to myself, I'm not going to do this to my own kids.
We grew up in Romania with it?
Yes. And I said to myself, I'm going to be a total different parent. So I went to the extreme. And I realized that actually being very forgiving towards your kids and having an open mind, you know, and trying to deal with what they're going through operates better, you know, than being that domineering parent.
So what about, let's talk, thank you for that. I appreciate you sharing your intimate story.
It's like my own story. You learn from your own story.
But let's talk about, because you're a visionary and you're a psychic and you're an intuitive, let's talk about on a soul level, why we create these patterns. So let's say we keep creating the same relationship. Yes, we're here to learn, but on a soul level, the soul creates the repetition because the soul wants also something out of that.
Well, the soul, if you think of the soul is an energy that comes from that drop of DNA that we are born. And we come from a drop of emotion. We come from a drop of memory that knows everything about us. Everything is implemented in that DNA, you know, from our skills, our abilities, the color of our hair, the height, the predisposition to, even to diseases, everything is
to relationship,
even the people we meant to bring in our life.
Right, so the soul creates situations because the soul wants to experience
the soul
healing.
wants to go to an experience of healing, and everybody coming in our lives is coming for the purpose of mirroring our own issues, you know.
Right.
We meet people as a reflection of something we need to improve, we need to better, we need to learn. Ego gets stuck into it, you know.
And so what's that relationship, ego and soul?
Well, there's a big relationship. Imagine the pyramid, the most solid element on earth, talking about spirituality. So the lowest level of consciousness, you have the ego. In the middle of the pyramid, you have your soul that operates on emotions. And on the top of the pyramid, you have yourself.
Or the spirit.
The
some
spirit
people, yeah.
that is linked to a higher dimension, to the so-called the divine, the perfection, the harmony that we all want to reach to.
Right.
So, how you go from your ego, that is, as I said, the lowest level, and we do so many wrong things in the name
Is
of
it wrong?
the ego.
Or is it a karmic thing we get stuck caught up in?
Well, at the level of the ego, we do karmic bad things. So when you think of karma, you think of good karma and bad karma. But at the level of the ego, we tend to create bad karmic patterns.
But we must do it for a reason, because the soul wants to learn that.
No, the soul is the next level. So
But why does the ego create then the negative
because
karmic pattern?
the soul is the low level of consciousness. We used to say that you don't operate
The
on your
ego is a low level.
The ego is the low. So when you think of your ego, in the name of your ego, you know what I mean? You go and punish, you blame, you put all your negative emotions.
But it's,
your soul doesn't.
there is a healthy ego aspect, right? There is a healthy ego where you're doing things. No, there is a healthy ego. You're doing your show and your career.
In a constructive way.
Yes, and that's for your ego, in a good way,
ego,
not like look at me.
I agree with you.
So we have to balance the egotistical.
We were talking about the negative sides of the ego.
So
I do agree that there is a positive side.
Right, but I'm trying to understand the balance then between these, why the soul lets that ego get away with it. I guess that's the question I'm asking you.
The soul might let the ego. It's not necessarily happy about. The soul
but
might
why
not
would
be really happy.
But the soul is what's in control.
Because the soul is the one that goes and regrets it and asks for forgiveness and wants to correct it, and the soul, the emotional sides of you, wants to get things better and ask for forgiveness and try to connect with the higher self and accepts that there has been a wrongdoing and I made a mistake and I want to fix it.
And why did we create that?
Because we are imperfect creatures living in an imperfect world, and we try to reach perfection, to reach our final destination, to a higher dimension, the dimension of the continuous time, when we don't live in limitation. We're in a world of limited by space and time. We come here with the number, talking about the world of the physics and talking about, we come with the DNA, but we also come with the divine code.
Right.
So the codification of who we are, it's all in the time when we're born. So that's another aspect about us that is very interesting.
So why did we incarnate as spirit, soul into these bodies if we're here? It's a question
I really think that we come into the physical body because we do have a lot of things that are left unhealed or unresolved. And we have memories of previous experiences. So we remember things that have been done to us, things that we did. We always have deja vu of knowing people that we met before. And sometimes we look at people, like I look at you and I have feelings about you did this, or things that happened to you, or the connection I might have with you. So this happens to us.
What was our connection?
It goes back to another life 100 probably years ago.
You get that feeling.
Yeah, I had a feeling of both of us. We were like artists, and we had a connection to art, not a connection so much to the spiritual stuff.
To art. I do have a connection still to art.
People really, really reconnect. They come back, they meet again, and there's no accidents in every single meeting that we have. Like I will always want to go back to my love of music.
Yeah, as an opera singer, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
You're an opera. I could see it.
I can, yeah. It's like
Could you go to,
something about the world that I love.
Why don't you sing? Do you want to sing here? No, because that is your...
spreading the news.
Oh, well, you do
I'm living today. I wanna be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes.
You actually have a good voice. You actually do.
But I have two voices. There's a voice that I can sing opera, that is a very high voice, and then I have this.
But actually, I could see your energy change just in singing that little thing.
Yes.
There was a lightening up.
And I sing in 14 languages.
14 wow. Do you speak 14 languages?
And I speak 5.
That's pretty good.
But I can speak and can sing in Hebrew perfectly, though I don't speak it perfectly. You know what I mean? I can sing in Portuguese, though I don't really speak. I can sing in Russian and Turkish. Language that are very difficult,
So what can we say to people who feel compelled to, like a past part of themselves that they want to fulfill their karma. You're singing, me doing my, I mean, how do we help people connect to that? What do you want to say to those people?
To the people who want to connect?
Well, to fulfill their, because we're here to fulfill the soul's
Exactly.
vision.
Well, that, have a dream. Go within yourself. Find your own self. Find who you are, who you've been, who you want to be, who you want to become. Create the best version of you, because there's so many things about you that are dormant, that are not brought to life.
And we're here to bring it to life.
We're here to bring everything
Let's
to life.
bring it to life.
And when you bring it to life, then you can establish phenomenal relationship with the people in your life. Relationship are such a beautiful aspect of our lives. We meant to interact. We're not meant to be alone. We're not meant to be single and unhappy and depressed. We live in a world that is so depressed. Why are we?
I'm not living in that world.
No, but the reality of this world.
I guess.
Let's face it.
I don't know what there are people there to be depressed about, though.
But there are a lot of people who have chemical imbalances, clinically, in a young generation that depend on Prozac, on clonazepam. Why?
I don't know why.
Life is so beautiful.
I don't know why.
But the medical field can say and confirm what I'm saying. And then that's a major concern for me and you, saying, why is this happening to us? Can we shift that? Can we change that?
Yes,
can we bring excitement in people?
Yes, look at you. Look how excited you are.
Can we make people be happy?
Well, we can't make them be happy. They have to choose to be happy.
Yes, you know what? At the end of the day, you cannot force change in people. You can inspire people, but you cannot make them change if they don't want to change. You can be inspiration if they choose to see you as an inspiration, as a force of change, but you cannot impose change.
So what's the best way to have a relationship with your children, with your partners? How do you approach it so we don't create the karmic baggage?
So first of all, don't allow interference. Make relationship pure. Declare the relationship. Make them simple.
So if I go and meet somebody,
simplicity is key to a relationship.
What do you mean simplicity? So
we complicate. If you go everywhere, you read about relationship. It's complicated. It's complicated. Why should it be complicated?
It's simple.
Relationship simple. Look at the simplicity.
But how? Be honest and sincere and clear.
Meet somebody and look at the core of that connection that you have. You might have it or may not have it. Don't try to create it if it's not there.
That's a good part. No, just let me absorb that. If I'm really attracted to someone, but yet there's no connection.
If it's not there, it's
not there.
In the book, what I like about the points of this book that I want the readers to get the book is because there are 4 types of relationship that people should read about.
Okay,
so I came up with the 4 types of relationship, and if you read that, then you understand the concept of and you identify what type of relationship are you in.
What are the 4 types?
Okay, the first type of relationship, the majority of relationship are compromise. People compromise. People get involved for the wrong reasons. People get married because they marry their family, or they marry the bank account, or because they want financial stability. They just settle for each other. They're not necessarily in love with each other. They stay for 30 years, they wake up and they say they never loved each other, but they have kids together. And compromise, unfortunately, according to statistics, a very frequent type of relationship. But people feel that they're in a comfort zone. They end up by caring for each other. Then they're afraid to walk away.
That's not the type you want to have.
But that's not the type you want, because you know what? In this kind of relationship, you end up cheating. Infidelity is very common, and those relationships at some point may become either toxic or dysfunctional,
or anger, or frustrated.
All those emotions, when pure, genuine love is missing, they can turn into something else.
Okay, what's the second type?
The second type is transitory relationship, very common. Let's say you go through a marriage, okay, and you divorce, and then you're alone, and you meet somebody right immediately after, and that's not meant to
That's not the good type. That's the rebound relationship. Never good.
You know what? You want to make it stable, and that's not meant to be stable. That's not meant to last. Right. And you need to know the elements that will pinpoint that's just.
But that's sometimes one-sided, like this one person's out of real, but you think this is the love of your life.
And you think this has to be the next. I finally found the love of my life, and actually you are completely wrong. You know?
Right.
And you base that on some kind of a
But
chemistry.
how do you know when it is? Right, the physical chemistry, which can be love.
It's the physical.
But how do you know when it's the right relationship? We'll get to the other two, and then we'll know when it's right.
So the other two are, and I know we're running out of time.
No, it's okay. This is important.
It's very important. So the next type of relationship are karmic relationships. So let's say you're happily married and you just meet somebody. And that person comes into your life when everything else is good into your life. But you cannot explain the connection with that person.
Right.
Up to the point that you're about to get divorced.
So what do you do?
So then you identify what happened somewhere, you know, in probably in a past life. Or there is a reason that person came.
Well, maybe you're supposed to be with that person and not with your married partner.
So then karmic relationships are very intense. They come suddenly. They can end up suddenly because the karma is resolved. You just can walk.
They can end suddenly, but do you divorce your partner?
Not necessarily.
But you can.
But you can. So sometimes compromise relationship can be karmic, transitory relationship can be karmic. And here we come to the fourth type of relationship, which is soulmate relationship.
Oh, that's the one.
Those are the ones.
How do I get that one?
Now, think of you are half of the sphere, okay? You half. You need the other half. Why you need the other half? Because world is about movement and transformation.
And polarity and duality.
And polarity and duality. You don't have the other half, you feel incomplete. You feel you're not moving.
That's what I'm looking, yes.
So you need the other half.
Okay,
now, in order to feel perfectly fit and complete, it's a feeling that none of the other relationship are gonna give. Soulmate relationship are relationship that make you feel mentally inseparable. You know, it's the two of you against the world. Have you ever had a feeling you are with somebody that nobody cannot break that relay?
I don't know. I haven't had that. I'm looking. I'm looking.
You're looking, and you never stop looking.
Well, can you help me find it?
Absolutely.
Okay. How?
Because you have to envision all the characteristics, but you need to know the elements. So in my book, there are 10 elements of the soulmate.
What are those? Tell me.
The elements, you have flashbacks. You have flashbacks. So that person, when you see that person, you imagine, you immediately see yourself with that person. You immediately have a sense of
okay, I
knowing
got
that person.
I got that
so
part.
Deja vu.
Yeah.
Then you love that person for his mistake, for his flaws. You know, you fall in love with somebody because he's mistaken about something, and because of his action that is beyond incredible. And I've seen this in people, like I've seen a 6-year-old with a 30-year-old. You feel you end each other's sentences. You know, you call each other in the same time. Then you have that indestructible connection.
I've been talking to Dr. Carmen Harra, who's written an amazing book called The Karma Queen's Guide to Relationships. I recommend it. Thanks for watching New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeld, and if you want to reach me, go to my website, newrealities.com, or email me at newrealities@earthlink.net. Thanks for watching.